So today is October the 30th, and I'm going to start with just talking about this decimal to fraction equivalency paper. Okay. Basically, some of the kids got it on Tuesday, and some of you've gotten it today on Wednesday. All it is those things are equal. I want you to think about it. $50. $50 is how much money?
50 cents.
50 cents. Well, look at this list. If I take 1/2 and I do that, that's that same amount of money, guys. If I go down to this list, once again, 2/4 is a half, which is 50 cents. 1 out of 4 quarters is 25 cents. 3 out of 4, 75 cents, and so on. Okay, if you will notice a few things on this list. Okay, here's one trick. All these literally say what they are. So, like 2/10. If you think about it, that's how we should be reading that. We shouldn't say 0.2. We should say 2/10 because that is in the tenths column. 0.3 is 3/10. 4/10. Okay? Just let me explain for a minute and then I'll take questions. Okay. Now, looking at some of these other ones that you may not notice, you may not see why we're studying this. Okay, look at these with the repeater bars. And yes, you've got to have the repeater bar for it to be right. Guys, all it is, and we've already learned this, to change a fraction to a decimal, all you're doing is dividing 1 divided by 9. What is in the house is on top. If I add a decimal and a 0, well, 9 goes into 10 once, and it ends up repeating. 0.1 repeating is the same as 1/9. 2/9 is 0.2 repeating. If you will notice this trick, this might help you. I don't know. All these 9s have repeater bars. Look at that. All the 9s, all the ones that have a denominator of 9, have repeater bars. Okay? Down here, this group, I'll be honest, we should know these already. Like 5/5 is 1. 6/6 is 1. 7/7 is 1. Okay? Now, so some of these we should already know is what I'm getting at. Okay, here's the deal. Every 9 weeks you have a memorization test of some kind. First 9 weeks it was multiplication tables, which seemed normal because we've been doing it for years. Okay? Then, starting this 9 weeks, you're going to, this is the test, the fraction to decimal equivalencies. Guys, it is a time test. It is on November 22nd. I realize it's a month from now, but I want you to have plenty of time if you're one that wants to study. Okay? It will be 2 minutes. And it will be mixed up. They will all be mixed up. Now, to study for it, I've had this question today, which is a great question. This is what I would do. Okay? I will put out a Quizlet. It won't be today, but in the next few days I'll try to put out a Quizlet. So you could use that. But the other thing is this. Take 1 box of these, like just these. Make you flashcards. On the front, put 1/9. On the back, put 0.1 repeating. Get those going, like study those. Then go in and maybe add another set. Mix them up, mix them up, mix them up. Get those studied really well. Make sure you know them. Then add another set. That's how you study for this. Okay? It's going to take you a little bit to study for this, like to get these. Eventually getting all of them on the flashcards and being able to just flip through them and flip them every which way. You should be able to look at 4/5 and tell me it's 0.8 and be able to look at 0.8 and tell me it's 4/5. Okay? What happens, only because I have older kids, I know this. This is the 6th grade list. In 7th grade, they add about 10 more. And then in 8th grade, they add about 10 more. But, to be honest, they're already expecting that you know this part of it. This shouldn't be new next year. This should be something already embedded in our brains. Yes. No. You got to write them out. So they'll be listed all mixed up, and you write the numbers. We're going to take some practice ones as the time goes. Not this week, but like next week, we'll probably take some practice ones. So you can kind of see what it's like. Okay? Yes?
Are only those going to be on the quiz?
Yeah, all these. All these. The weird part is this, and I'm going to flip this over just to kind of write. You might have this on number 1, and you fill it in, and then number 2 might be that, and then you fill it in. Like, it can be either way. It can be the front side or the back side. That's why, to me, a flashcard is so helpful, because you can flip them around, and you can shuffle them up. And you can even time yourself. You can hit start on a clock, go through them all, and then see how long it took you. Okay? I'm a believer that some of you will study, starting now. And so, that's why I'm giving it to you so early. I mean, really. Okay? Yes?
So if half, is that 50 or 5 or
0.5 or 0.50. I would take either one, because that is the same as that. Okay? But these decimals have to be there. You know, if there's decimals, repeater bar has to be there on those for it to be right. Okay? So, I will have this. Like I said, I'll send it out on everything in the future. Okay? Now, let's look at Math Workshop. Okay. We are on 4, 5, and 6 on Math Workshop. Okie dokie. 1 second. Okay. On 4, 5, and 6, here we go. Hopefully you're checking. Okay. So number 4, the reciprocal of. On number 4, the reciprocal of 4 and 6 ninths is 42 ninths. Flip it over. It's 9 42s. So it starts as that. Flip it over. That's the answer. 9 42s. Reciprocal means flip it over. Good on that one? Okay. Second one, rectangular prism. Rectangular prism is the one to me that looks like a box. Okay? Built of rectangles. We will study these eventually. Okay? On this one, number 6, perimeter means add. Yes, perimeter means add. So, you should have what I call some pile of numbers. You don't have to have my list, but, okay, giving me an answer with feet, and then the triangle adding up their numbers and giving me an answer with inches. I am begging you to add them twice. A lot of you last time were off by like 1. Okay? I'm kind of leaving those 2 up to you, like these 2 right here. See if you can get them, because all you're doing is adding. Oh, I don't want answers yet. I'll be honest, these are the 2 I'm going to grade that I haven't given you the answers. So far, I've given you all the answers to 1 through 5. So I'm leaving you with that one. Okay.
Why isn't the timer like counting up? Like recording something?
It is recording.
Oh.
I'm recording the lesson. Okay. Will you get out last night's homework on absolute value? It was easy. Now, the homework, guys, Yes, most of you finished it in class. That is my goal this week, is to get a lot of it done in class. Okay. Now, it was this assignment, which was, okay, it was page 421, 7 through 9, and 22 through 34. And this was from Tuesday. Okay. Now, checking our answers. Here we go. Okay, 1 second. Ready? Okay, so start now with just 7, 8, 9. Okay. On number 7, changing it to the absolute value with 5. Okay, and then 8 and 9, I started writing the problem, as I call it, which is better. Okay, change the 20 to 20, negative 3 to 3, subtract, get 17. On number 8, everybody good? It might be on the back of yesterday's notes. Okay. Good. Number 9. Changing negative 16 to 16, negative 12 to 12, adding it up, getting 28. Okay. Make sure one thing I'm worried about, like if you put 27, I have to count it wrong. Just make sure you add numbers twice. That's all. Okay. Or subtract. Okay. Here is 22 through 24. These were basic. If it is in the absolute value bars, change it to a positive. Change it to a positive. 0 stays 0. Remember, absolute value just means how far is it from 0. Yes. On Friday's quiz, it will have number lines, it will have this absolute value stuff, and then what we do today. It should be easy, yes. Okay, 25, 26, and 27. Okay, absolute value is 25. 26, 2 plus 13 is 15. And 27, 15 plus 6 is 21. Okay, going down to the next two, 28 and 29. I got 3 and 30. Make sure you subtract. Make sure you subtract. Which one? Shh, stop. 29. That 31 stays 31.
Oh, I have 28. I don't have a 37.
Okay, so go back and look. If I've got it written right, it is 31 minus negative 1. 28. You added, and it's subtraction. Okay. It's like, I know the test is going to be easy. I know that. But there is places to make little mistakes. You got to slow down because you might add on a subtract. So, okay. On 30, many of you just shut down like you won't read it. Look at 30. All it's asking you is if you take the absolute value of neon, so that number, you take the absolute value of hydrogen, which is that number, but change them to absolute value. Is it greater than or less than? So look, all I did was I took neon. I wrote the absolute value. Hydrogen, I wrote the absolute value. Then I thought about it as less than or greater than. Okay? I realized I probably should have written a sentence. I was going a little fast this morning. But neon is less than hydrogen.
I got greater than.
Okay? If you wrote greater than, then it should be hydrogen is greater than neon. You had to change them to absolute value before you could answer it. Okay. 31 is where there's some trickers in there. Okay. Not every answer is positive. Look, right here. Yes, absolute value of 3 is 3. But if there's a negative sign on the outside, it's negative 3. The stuff on the outside of the bars can change it. Okay. 32, same way. Absolute value of negative 10 is 10, but that negative sign changes it back to negative. And then you got to have the negative to be right. It is wrong if there's no negative. Okay. 14 and then 9. Okay. Honestly, if there was a negative sign outside this, it'd be negative 9. There's not, but it's 9. Okay. Now, basically today, what they do, we did number lines on Monday. What you think? Number lines and all that. And yesterday we did absolute value. All it does today is kind of like mix it up. We're going to do greater than, less than signs. We're going to do putting numbers in order from least to greatest. But there might be a few questions that have absolute value. Okay? It is honestly like it's not too bad. Here we go.
Are these wrote on the paper or we got it through the book?
Here we go. 3, 5, 6. Okay. There's 2. Okay. So, give me a second. They're coming. Give Miss Jetzel a second.
You already got it?
Nope, all the way back then. Okay. So, here we go. These are the notes starting out for inequalities. And poor Miss Sawyer didn't spell Wednesday right.
Yeah.
I'll throw that out there. I know. But we all make mistakes. Now, here we go. This is third period. Now, starting out with the word inequality. And inequality is a comparison. Whoops, there's a bump there. Of two numbers. It is a comparison of two numbers. Okay? Honestly, all I think of when we talk inequalities, greater than, less than signs. That's what we're talking about. We're going to be comparing them. Now, just trying to get this on there. Okay. First off, when doing these two symbols, I realize everybody teaches it a little different, okay? The official words, meaning what should come out of our mouth when we see that symbol, should be the words less than. But a lot of times we get confused, okay? This one should be greater than. My thing is, as we're checking homework and stuff, just make sure your symbol's facing the right way, okay? Now, here is my trick. I know a lot of you grew up with the alligator eating the bigger number or whatever. That is fine. I usually would explain it as little Pac-Mans.
I like Pac-Man.
And that Pac-Man is always going to eat the larger number, facing that larger number. Are we good so far? Okay. The other thing that you might see in here is equal signs. If it's the same number, it's equal. Okay. Now, starting out, the first thing they're going to ask you to do. Stop. Thank you. Okay, the first thing they're going to ask you to do is compare the two expressions. They just mean the two numbers. Compare them. Here we go. So, in the book, it even says, when you do this part, it basically tells you using these symbols. Okay, so looking at number 1, I've got the numbers 8 and -5. Which one is larger? 8. So my symbol should be facing this way, otherwise known as the greater than symbol. Number 2. Now, this is where the tricker comes in. That means absolute value of -24. I want you to think about it. We just learned this. So we need to change it to 24. This side is 6. And think of these two numbers. Is bigger, right? 24 is larger. So watch for those absolute value bars. Everybody good? Okay. On this one, the absolute value of 8 is 8. We got a -2, so which one's bigger? 8. Does it have absolute value bars? Nope, it just stays -2. Yeah. Okay, number 4. Which one's bigger? -11 or 3? 3. Right, right. Okay. This means absolute value of -2, which means it is a 2. This side is a 2. So they're equal. Okay. And then we have this one. I need you to slow down there. Remember, hey guys, just listen for a second. Not everybody understands these things. Okay, on a number line, and I'm going to kind of draw it right here for later, but I want you to think about it. Can y'all see it up there? Okay. Okay, I want you to think about this. 100 is greater than all those other numbers, right? Okay, negative numbers down here are less. So as you go this way, it gets bigger. As you go this way, it gets smaller. Okay, so where would -10 be? Near the 0 or near the -100? Near the 0. Where would -99 be? Way back here. Okay, so which one is greater? The 10, because it's further to the right. In the negative world, whatever's the closest to 0 is going to be the biggest number. It's kind of the opposite of the positives. So that symbol should be facing that way. Yes?
So could you put it like... Never mind.
Okay. You don't want to flip it. Like, if the teacher gives it to you in this order, keep it in this order. Okay? Yes?
I thought it was 99 because 99 is bigger than 8.
Right, but here's the deal. Negative numbers. And I think of it this way. Would you rather owe somebody $10 or would you rather owe someone $99? 10. You owe them. You got to pay them. Would you rather owe them 10 or owe them 99? You'd rather owe them 10. So 10 is a better number. It's a bigger number. Now, granted, you'd rather have $10 in your pocket, right, than owe anybody. So as you go this way, they're getting bigger. As you go that way, they're getting smaller.
Like you have more money in your pocket.
Right, down here. The one thing is this. The reason I'm doing it up here is I can't show the number line on the wall. Guys, that number line's on the wall. You can use it if you need to look up there. Okay? Yes?
They're both that negative numbers, then whatever's smaller is bigger.
Right.
Yeah, because like if you have like $99 in your pocket, you owe someone 10, you still have more in your pocket.
Right. Right. Okay. Now, look at this next thing. Now we're going to write each set of numbers in order, and this time it asks us to do least to greatest. Now, least to greatest, smallest to biggest. Okay? Now, I'm going to be honest. I mean, if you ever need to make a number line, you can do it. That's fine. Okay? So, least to greatest. What is the furthest number down the number line?
-1.
-3. Listen, -3 is the furthest that way.
Oh, I thought we were doing list 2.
Least to greatest. Then -1. Because it's getting bigger the closer I go to 0.
Then it's 0 and 5 and 6.
Okay? Least to greatest. Listen, the smallest numbers are down at that end, like to the left.
Oh,
And then it gets bigger as we go to the right. So as we go this, like on this number line, -3, -1. -3 would be here. -1 would be here. So as we go this way, it gets greater, bigger.
all the way. Back up.
So that's why it's smaller, then bigger, then bigger, then bigger, then bigger, then bigger, that way. Okay? So the next number would be 5, and then 6. Okay. Going on to number 2. Which one is the furthest down the number line?
-9.
-9. Then
-3.
-3,
0.
0, and 6. And I don't know why they're in order, but that's okay. It might be that way. Who knows? Yes.
If they are in order, can we just leave it alone?
Nope, because then I don't think you did the question. Good question, though. Okay, on the next pile. This is where they want us to order the integers, which just means numbers, from greatest to least. Greatest to least.
Number 2, would it be the same order as already is in order?
No,
Greatest.
figure it out. I have no clue. Like, we got to think about it a little bit. Okay? Listen, greatest to least. Start at this end and go that way. So now, like, if we're doing greatest to least, we start down here and we go that way. Okay, so what is our biggest number? 11.
21.
Then, our greatest number is 3. Then our greatest number is -4.
-4.
Then -25. Yeah, one thing, by the way. If you, right, if you forget the negative sign, it's wrong, guys. There's a total difference between having $10 and owing $10. That's the difference in a negative sign. Okay, so looking at number 2. What is the largest number in that pile? 30. Now what's the largest number? 3. Then 2. Then -6. -18. Okay. Now, just like every other day this week, the homework is listed here, and it's in your textbook if you need it tonight. Otherwise, here we go. What I'm going to do is put it up here, showing the exact textbook page, if you'd like to use it, okay? If you'd like to just use the back of your paper, that's fine with me. Whoops, I should have put Tuesday. I should have put Wednesday. Okay, so tonight's homework is 796 and 797, 1 through 22. It is exactly, you got to read the words, okay, like what we've been doing. Okay, go for it. Start with those.
Can we put this homework on the same page?
If you want, either way, as long as you can find it tomorrow.
Creepy, spooky skeleton.
Okay, start with 1 through 9. On number 9, you've got to look at the order and the numbers below those runners. When it says on number 9, write an integer, all that means is a number. Okay, but you've got to read number 9.
Do you add or do you
You do your homework on the back of this?
You can do it on the back or notebook
Do
paper.
you add it?
I'm going to do it on the back of this.
They just want a number to represent a position. You're going to have to read the question later before you ask. So the question, like, here's the thing, guys. You've got to read it. Why? Let's just pause it that way. Maybe I'll do it. Okay, you got to read it. Y'all want me to just spit out everything for you, and I want you to read it. I'm about to snap. Oh. I don't know anything about that. It just was on my desk. But I know. I was like, are you cold or something? Please quit talking. Please stop playing before I add your list. Tomorrow, I want you back over here where you're supposed to be. I just want you back where you're supposed to be.
This is your everyday.
Then, Nicole, tomorrow, I want you where he is. Go ahead and move, 'cause I need Nicole to be able to see the board. Thank you. And Justin, if you want to move up, feel free. If you want. All right, stay there. That is up to you. Guys, it's just one of those things I need to do anyway. Thank you, thank you. I thought about it while I was recording, but I didn't feel like. Stop.
Teachers and students, pardon this interruption. Armando Treviso, please come to the student office. Armando Treviso, please come to the student office.
Okay. You do actually through 22. Yeah, through 22. You're doing 1 through 22. Part of it's on one page, part of it's on the next page.
Just stop for a second, guys.
Back up. Here's 39. 10 through 22. Okay. It's just a copy of it. Okay, wait, you got a number stuff. This can't be answers, right? Can't be answers. Here.
Okay, so what I have tried to do is show the whole thing. So on the left side of the board, I've got 1 through 19. On the right side of the board, I tried to fit 20 through 22. I'm honestly trying to make them as large as I can. Okay, so I'm going to leave that right there. I didn't know I'd been recording the whole time.
Look at the people running as if it's a number.
Finish your homework.
It says who is ahead of and